For 4 decades, the Sandy Track in Southwick, Massachusetts held a special place in American motocross. The deep sand, the changing lines, lap after lap. The Wick will test a rider's mental strength as well as their overall fitness and desire to win. After a 3-year hiatus, the best motocross riders in America are headed back to the sandbox.
The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship is back at Southwick for the Red Bull Southwick National. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant joined live here on MAV TV by multi-time motocross and supercross champion Grant Langston. It is so good to be back at the Wick 338, but since we have not raced here in several years, really hard to predict how the races are going to go.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the unique events of the season, and being back at the Wick is great. The fans are really soaking it all up. This track is sandy, it's rough, expect the unexpected. It's going to test the riders and their fitness as well as the machines themselves. But in practice and qualifying, Austin Faulkner, the youngster we've talked so much about, looked fantastic, faster than the 250s. And how about Justin Barsha looking good on the 450s? I expect some great racing today. And like I said, expect the unexpected. This place brings out the best and the worst out of any rider and the machines.
Yeah, the track's just going to get rougher as the day goes on. And as we show you our 411 and give you kind of the rules of the road in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, we'll see why. We're going to race 4 times today, 2 different classes, 450 bikes and 250 bikes, and they'll each race twice. We'll total up their scores from both motos to determine our overall winners for today at Southwick. Let's introduce Georgia Lindsay to the show at the GoPro starting gate.
Now, Southwick brings out the best and the worst in some people, but for Tim Tremblay, it has brought out the best. 4th in qualifying. You are from Quebec, Canada. Motocrossing is part-time for you. You are the 2nd in the championship for snowcross. What brought you down here to Southwick?
Yeah, you know, that was my dream to do AMA National for a long time, and I never done any AMA before. And I came down this weekend and just to try it out and see if I can qualify, and I did pretty good. You know, I was in the first group, so it was the track was pretty smooth, but getting forward, you know, was awesome, and I just wish I can have 2 good motos and have fun today.
Now, you are out here for fun, and you said that motocross is just for training for you, but being 4th in qualifying in this 450 class, how are your nerves right now? Are you feeling pretty excited?
Yeah, no, that's pretty amazing to be just behind those guys and just Rogzen and Tomac and Barsha. You know, it's my dream, and I watch those guys every weekend, so it's awesome to be there, and hopefully I can do good out there.
Best of luck. Thank you, Tim.
That's the strange thing about Southwick. It leads to strange results. The track was smooth when those guys were out there in their first practice. It mixed up qualifying. How will the races go? Stay tuned.
The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship is brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. Geico Motorcycle. See how much you can save on motorcycle insurance.
Back at the Wick 338, legendary track for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. We are 5 minutes from the first gate drop at a Pro National here since 2013. Now, some things might not change, though. How do you go fast on this track? Grant Langston, KTM keys to the moto.
Well, we're back at the Wick, and it's a little bit different to any other venue that we go to. Sand, of course. First thing, sand. That's what we deal with. And then because of the sand, the track gets really rough. Fitness is very important as well. And then finally, decisions, meaning people have been gambling. What do they do for setup? What do they change? What tire compound? We saw that in practice. Guys can't figure out whether they go for a full scoop or an intermediate, because as much as there's sand, some of these parts of the track have a hard base to it. So a lot of decisions.
Well, the whole day is mixed up because of these conditions, including this. We're going to honor our FMF Privateer Power Award winner, Paul Coates, the Englishman on the Tylube Transport Honda, but we do not have a shot of him in the starting line because Coates didn't qualify today after finishing in the top 20 last week. That's how quickly things change when you get to a totally different track like this. Tell us more about the track with the Kawasaki track map.
Well, as you see, the start now goes to the right. The last time we were here, it went left. So the track is basically going opposite direction. First thing you do is go past the Fran Mechanics area, over that, what used to be the old finish line. Then you come up this hill, make a left. This part of the track right here is new. They've added in this like kind of horseshoe, and it's very slippery at the bottom of these hills because, like I was talking earlier, there is a base. So below the sand is a base. So the lower parts of the track definitely seem to be a little more slippery. But this part of the track, as I call the meat, this part of the track's not changed since I've been racing it from day one. There's the other old finish line. They've moved the finish line around here a few times. But as you see, the center part of the track, this is where it gets really rough. You're going to have an outside and an inside berm develop. This is a bit of any of these long sweeping turns get very rough and choppy, and it does not allow the riders to sit down. They have to stand through there. Now you make this left, and then you go probably through one of the fastest part of the track, Henry Highway. This goes at the back part of the track, and then once again drops down. You got one of these long sweeping lefts that just seems to almost never end because it keeps going, and it gets tighter at the end. But now you head a little bit back uphill to what's now the finish line. Make a right past the the manager's tower. Long sweeping left, and you join back on, and that's a lap here at Southwick.
Give you a little more data here, courtesy of the folks at LidPro with their Race Insights GPS device you can buy, put on your helmet, or the teams use to learn the fast way around the track.
Well, this is pretty interesting. This compares Brock Tickle to Brock Tickle, but from practice 1 to practice 2. As we have a little look here, you'll see that there was 3.5 second difference between first and second practice. It shows you with the track deterioration how much slower they get. But you know what's funny is Tickle went faster in the first practice, running a lot of the outside lines. You see the little side-by-side there? See the mile-an-hour difference? It just shows you. Same rider, but 7 miles an hour slow in the same section. But earlier in the day when it's smooth, Brock actually ran all the outside lines. When I say he ran majority outside lines. But as the track gets rougher, you'll see the guys closing it in. Look at the difference. He traveled 122 feet longer, but still was 3.5 seconds faster than his second practice, which just shows you how quickly this track deteriorates. And once it gets deteriorated, everyone goes back towards the inside.
And we're on board with Blake Baggett here running the GoPro. He had a big crash in practice, but he will be racing the motos today, and now you get to see what it's like on board. Yeah, this is the section right before they will loop back around the start, before they go past the Fran Mechanics area. Listen to this on the gas. Oh, never let off. That's that new section I was saying about down the hill there. There's Baggett on the number 4, former winner here in the 250 class, former champion in the 250 class, still looking for his first ever win on a 450. Kind of an injury-riddled season for him. And by the way, his teammate for the weekend, Matt Bisceglia, did not qualify today. He was actually leading the LCQ and he crashed out. But this guy did make it. One of the Rippas, Robbie Marshall.
Robbie Marshall.
On a
New England boy.
And
yeah.
252 stroke.
Unbelievable. He said, GL, I'm here to put a smile on the fans' faces. Top 5 in qualifying. Unbelievable for the local hero. If he gets a start, which I think is going to be very tough in that bike, but if he does, this place is going to erupt.
He has on the side of his bike, the graphic says #working-man. He tells me he wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning on Monday mornings to go to work for his family business. He's just out here for fun. You got to watch the locals. They can always upset the show here at Southwick. And we're back. Marvin Musquin leading him into the first turn. But Justin Bogle, who has been incredible with the starts lately.
And a big pile up in the background. We'll have to find out who went down, but what a start. And look at Musquin.
Yeah, coming right back on Bogle. Now Bogle going to switch it up back to the inside. Great racing. Bogle on the 19. Musquin on the 25. Bogle takes the lead back. Got Christophe Porcel in third. And no sign of your series leader, the series dominator, Ken Roczen, yet. I think that could have been him 5th or 6th. But Bogle had both hole shots last week. Going to try to do a little more with it this time.
Great start from Bogle, really fighting for that lead there. You saw Musquin really trying. And with the sand, these guys' vision becomes an issue because you constantly get roosted by this wet sand. There's Roczen, so Roczen near the front. Oh, and Tomac's right with him. So I know it's been a few years. We don't get ahead of ourselves, but Roczen and Tomac battled for the win on 250s. Now, on the 450, are we going to see some of the same? Let's hope so.
Oh, nice move to get around. I think that's Nicoletti there for Roczen. Yeah, Nicoletti on the 34. Now Roczen going after Weston Pike. This has been the ace in the deck for Roczen this year. These first lap quick passes. Tomac's trying to follow him through. Look, Roczen's going everywhere. Pike isn't, and he made it work.
Wow, that was really impressive up the inside there. Ken Roczen just able to do certain things that I think most riders wish they could. And one of them is when you don't quite get the start, this guy is unbelievable. Look at how clean Bogle is. Now look at behind. If you saw the guy in 30th, you wouldn't even recognize who he was. So vision, definitely an important factor here.
Probably why Bogle worked so hard to try to repass Musquin on the first lap. Now a battle of the Frenchmen at the 377 of Porcel rolling up on Musquin and then quickly attacked by Roczen.
Jeez, Roczen just goes wherever anyone does and watch, he'll square it up and he'll probably make it happen right here. How does he? The crafty Frenchman, not the easiest guy to get past.
Porcel's 250 days. It was I called it the Porcel experience, trying to get around this guy. He's so cagey, so smart. Yeah, Roczen's taking a couple swings, still can't make it happen.
Here we go. Here's a foul spot. Look at that. Roczen squares to the inside. This is basically a drag race. Gets some wheels to the ground. He's got the inside. He'll stay low of this, but Porcel hasn't given up. But Roczen seals the deal.
Some rough stuff that Porcel was in. Oh, and now Roczen immediately after Musquin.
Oh, man. Roczen does not waste any time. But look at his front number plate. There's a reason why he's trying to get through. He wants some. He doesn't want to be eating roost this whole moto. He's got the pace, got the speed, and
a hand off the bar there on that jump. Left hand off of Roczen.
Yeah, I don't know if he had a tear off or what.
Yeah, got hit in the hand or something. So now he doesn't seem to have slowed. He's still right behind Musquin, who's on that Red Bull KTM. Soaring Eagle Jimmy John Suzuki for Roczen. Gonna try it again.
Another mistake from Musquin. He missed that inside line. And the lap before on another turn, he did almost the exact same thing. So a couple of mistakes from Musquin in the early laps. But Ken Roczen, the ever opportunist. Look at Bogle. How about that? Just over one lap, Bogle really just putting the hammer down. But for a lot of these guys that train in these kind of conditions, like I know in Oklahoma, they talk about, you know, the Oklahomian crowd, and they, you know, Robbie Raynard's father has a sand track, and these guys have been pounding motos. It helps, trust me, it all helps.
Got Tomac here on the outside trying to get around Pike. And they're right behind Porcel and Musquin, so it is a tight pack here inside the top five. Oh, Tomac cuts straight across to make the move on Pike.
Yeah, he knows he's got to run because he can see Roczen's starting to disappear. And this has been what we've seen a lot this year, Jason. Even when Tomac gets a decent start and he's right with Roczen, Roczen just absolutely dissects the field in the first 2 to 3 laps. And Eli spends his life playing catch-up. So I think he's been working on that intensity because he looks very aggressive in the opening laps, meaning he's going to make a pass. Whether the door is open or not, he's opening it.
Well, he now got around Porcel also. So Bogle still leads, Roczen second. Here's third and fourth. Musquin and Tomac. And how about this? Justin Bogle has actually stretched it since Roczen has gotten into second place.
Yeah, last lap around, well, their lap times almost mirrored each other, except for the fact, Bogle was
7/100ths of a second.
Yeah, their fastest lap has been like that, but yeah, the last lap, you're right, he did gain a few tenths. But there again, Roczen was still making the passes.
Yeah, we'll see if it changes right now. Oh man, sand being shoveled in the face of Tomac. And now we have heard that first turn crash that we saw. Justin Barcia, your fast qualifier, was in it. And Blake Baggett, who's already had a rough day, but after a big crash in qualifying, was in that crash as well. So they are way back. Barcia 19th at the moment. And Baggett even further back. Can't even find him on the radar at the moment. So tough break for Barcia.
Yeah, definitely not how you want to start your day at the Wick. And look at that up the inside. Did he get it done? There's Bogle, your leader. We know he's riding great. This is going to be a moto of his career right now in the 450. Yes, Tomac did seal the deal. He's in the third. So this is going to be interesting. See, Roczen takes a little look over, and he realizes, all right, who's coming? See that, Tomac? Clutch adjustment. You use a clutch a lot on this track because you're constantly on the power. So you see him roll that, basically take out the free play. I don't even know what you call that. A roller, I mean, the free play adjuster.
It looks like a wheel, small wheel on the handlebars.
So here's a little replay. Watch this. Tomac squares up. Musket on the power. They almost touch, but just stayed tight, got the power to the ground. I know that looks easy, and you think, why doesn't everyone take that line? It's not as easy as it looks.
Well,
and it's hard to be consistent doing it that way.
And one of the things that we were touching on quite a bit in qualifying is you feel those insides are actually quite a bit more slippery and harder base than the outsides.
Well, Tomac did it perfectly. Beautiful power slide that couldn't have done any better, but wow.
Hardly much better than this.
Yeah, Bogle just, I mean, you almost expected Roxon to be right on him at this point because that's what we usually see from Roxon. But yeah.
Roxon closed in a little bit, about 5/10 the last time around. So this time Roxon was quicker, but Tomac has minimized the damage. He's now right behind Roxon on the chart.
A second on the front two that last lap. Roxon gained about half a second on Bogle, but Tomac was 1.5 seconds quicker than Bogle and a full second quicker than Roxon. So for everyone at home, I got a feeling this is going to get kind of exciting.
Bit of a three-way battle for the lead, but Bogle, who had the whole shot in both motos last week and wasn't able to hold it for long, much better here in the sand. And like you said, all that sand riding that this gang has been doing back in Oklahoma, at least paying off at the moment. See Roxon getting a little bit closer, but honestly, Roxon is beating these dudes up these first couple laps this year. So just the fact that he's only inching up on him is pretty impressive for Bogle, the way Roxon's been doing it this year.
Typically, Europeans have done well at this track, and I base that on the reason that there's a lot of sand riding in Europe. When I lived there, I lived in Holland. Most of the country's below sea level, so you ride in tracks that are way sandier than this all the time. And you know, someone like Ken Roxon, even the French, you know, their tracks are more hard packed than that, but they ride a lot in sand. So definitely, you'll often see a lot of Europeans doing well at this race, but there again, there's a lot of locals that have a lot of sand experience, and obviously Bogle's been putting the work in on sand tracks. He looks fantastic, just like Roxon looks great, but what about Tomac? He looks like the man on a mission right now.
Roxon now starting to find some new lines, try to attack Bogle with, and try to figure it out, and also trying to avoid the giant rooster tails that are coming off of that Geico Honda's rear tire.
Yeah, but he can't back off because he'll lose his spot. That new finish line jump's got a bit of a nasty kick to it. Oh, look at Tomac up the inside. Feet up the pegs. Look at that corner speed. Tomac is on rails right now. This is the old ET we used to.
And listen to the crowd. They're coming to life. They're getting a three-way battle for the lead. Tomac, exactly. This might be the best riding we've seen from him this year. Certainly was close at Muddy Creek, but it took the whole motor to get there. He's done it early. Roxon knows Tomac's there, so he's got to try to take the lead. Bogle's not letting it happen. Bogle, by the way, I just want to say, best moto finish of the year for him is a 6th. This is outstanding.
Oh, he takes the line away from Roxon. But the crowd loving this, Jason. We saw it walking around earlier. The fans are so excited to have the Wick back here at Southwick National. Look at this. Tomac just charges up the inside. Woo! That was a power move right there. Wow. That was
incredible.
impressive.
Oh, but then a mistake. I don't know if he missed a gear or something coming out of the corner, lost his drive. And Roxon says, thank you, I'm going to take it right back.
Oh, these two. This is it's crazy because we're 10 minutes into the moto, but I think for these guys, it's pretty much about supremacy right now. Who is the man? It's been Roxon. Tomac does not like that. He does not like being beaten. He's motivated. He wants to win. And while we're talking about these two, Bogle is still holding on to the lead. And he looks fantastic doing it. Doesn't look out of control, nothing.
No, inside, that's what we call the Buckley berm. Named after the legendary photographer here, Paul Buckley. Some great shots. Some of the best motocross shots you'll get come on a sand track like this. They lay it over deep into these corners. You got the big roost. And of course, you got these fans here adding some color to the event as well. And they're excited about this.
Yes, they are. Look at that interesting line from Bogle. Gets us some, as I like to call, clean real estate on that left-hand side. And kind of worked out the same, but less energy. Roxon using obviously a lot of energy, trying everything to go. And now he's going the long way around. So he's going to go wherever Bogle doesn't.
You can see the way Roxon is being bounced around, that he's not maybe in the line he wants, but it's the line he has to use. Oh, he's going to try and Bogle again with the block. Now, who comes out of the corner better? Bogle does, but this section,
here we go.
Roxon set up Porcel to make a pass through here earlier.
He's going the long way around. And like we said, Roxon will not follow, but the lines blend together in that corner. That corner almost creates two lines back into one. So look at the fans and the mechanics area with all the towels being waved and the pit boards. It's usually saying something like, you can, you've got this, but they're telling that to every rider.
And once again, Bogle able to weather the storm from Roczen, as Roczen is from Tomac. Tomac begins to close back in, though.
Yeah, Tomac made a little mistake, lost his feet off the pegs, lost a few bike legs. Roczen once again tries the outside. And once again, those lines join at the exit, not able to quite make it happen. But is he going to go up the inside? This is where Tomac was just incredibly fast the last lap. And once again, gained some more time there.
Oh, Roczen was just in a cloud of sand, and then he had to pull a tear off and was going one-handed through that section, got some head shake, and is still going for it down the inside.
Now he's on the outside, but does he have to drive? Bogle's got the inside coming to this next corner. What's going to happen? Roczen squares it up. He's got it. Roczen makes it happen.
Man, that was a big effort. It's 3 or 4 corners that Roczen had set that up. Cleared his vision. Didn't care if the handlebars were shaking as he rode through one-handed. And it's go time for Roczen because he's hoping that Bogle and Tomac hook up and he can get a little gap. So Tomac, let's see what he can do.
Well, Tomac has got to get by Bogle quickly because he knows if he gets stuck here, it's all over. He goes, oh, they almost touched there. Now he's on the outside. Bogle riding a little bit protective, but Tomac carries a ton of speed around the outside.
Wow.
Tomac is just really on rails at the moment, gets around. That's exactly what he needed. And now he's trying that. Whoa.
I can't believe he made that work. There was no traction there, and he actually still gained time and is able to leap up nearly side by side with Roczen. Here we go.
Wow, that was flat track specialty right there. So now right on him, this is what we've wanted to see. Tomac now putting the pressure on Roczen, 1 and 2.
Oh, we go back 2 weeks ago at Muddy Creek. Tomac definitely had the speed. He was able to charge second moto, run Roczen down, give credit to Roczen. He held him at bay. Then Roczen stretched it back out, was dominant in the 2 motos last week at Redbud. Rematch here. Today it appears Tomac is able to make tracks on Roczen, but just like at Muddy Creek, every time Tomac comes close, oh no. Had to wipe the goggles there, not sure exactly what happened, but Roczen able to respond every time Tomac gives him the big challenge.
I'm just wondering, I'm trying to have a look. It's a little tough to tell. I know Tomac runs Oakley's, but I'm trying to figure out if he's got roll-offs or tear-offs, because if he's wiping the vision now, there might be big issue as far as vision goes, because typically, but you know what also happens sometimes, Jason, with the sand, it'll because it's wet, it kind of clumps, sticks together, and sometimes you get a big clog on your, say, your nose or by your goggles, and it starts almost falling in your face or in your mouth. So sometimes these guys will literally just go up and just try and bang that, wipe it away. But he looks like he just got his vision cleared. Now he's going to go remount. Yellow flags waving. Obviously a lapper that went down.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do in these conditions to anything. The bike, the goggles, the gear. You're going to be dealing with the sand.
So we just heard from George at the pits that Tomac is running tear-offs. So I'm curious if he's out of tear-offs, because Jason, like I said before, out of every corner right there, boom. See, he's looking away.
Yeah.
Because he's out of tear-offs. So now this comes down to that he's got to basically figure out where I'm going to pass Roczen. I've got to get close. He likes his corner, but he needs to do it ASAP without any vision. Look, power slides. Roczen does the same thing. Roczen probably trying to figure out what these guys are doing because he hears everyone come up the left side. Look at this. Tomac with a great drive. Now they cross lines. Roczen goes to the inside. Tomac cannot follow because, as we've seen, he's wiping his vision.
Yeah, he's got to be careful in this corner right here to avoid the spray. Yeah, and he does. He's looking over. That is unbelievable. If these guys can do this without even looking at times, that's all part of the game on a sand track. Tomac hanging with Roczen, but yeah, he's got to just pick his spot. Can't just put the pressure on the guy.
Yeah, so, speaking of that,
unbelievable, he made it happen.
And you know what? He's going to make sure that at all costs that Roczen cannot come by. But we're halfway through this moto, Jason.
Feels like we've been riding for 5 minutes. We're already 15 minutes down, 15 minutes to go. 15 minutes, you can call Geico, save 15% or more on your insurance. Now, is Eli Tomac about to build an insurance gap over Ken Roczen, or can Roczen hang with him? So far, the best moto of the year for Eli Tomac in the deep sand of Southwick. It's at your Papa's tractor. This is full throttle action. Shields down, going for the full pull. The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League travels to tracks all around the U.S., bringing competitive tractor pulling to the masses. Check it out Sunday, 4 Eastern and Pacific, only on MAV TV. Motorsports Network. Big battle for third here at the WIC 338. You've got Justin Bogle and Marvin Musquin fighting for it. Bogle had the whole shot, led about 10 minutes of this moto. Great job by him. Now trying to hold on to get his first ever 450 moto podium. Had a 6, that's his best coming into this one. Had 2 of those, as well as a 7th. So this is above par for what he's had this year, but Musquin not impressed. He wants to stop that, push him to 4th.
Yeah, they got a little lap traffic. They basically had a filter in the same line, but Musquin has been chipping away at Bogle throughout this moto. As you see them.
I think we lost it right here. A couple lap riders coming through because everybody's number plates are covered. Here we are. Bogle coming in. The bike's still relatively clean because he led those laps early. Musquin, meanwhile, has been eating sand the whole time.
Porcel is still right there. I mean, when I say right there, he's got a couple bottlenecks to make, but great battle, yeah.
Well, this lap traffic is tough. Wow, they almost hit each other, almost hit the lap rider. By the way, shout out Justin Barsha, who was down on the first turn all the way up to 9th, so he is conceivably in potential to get in this battle for the podium. Bogle switches it up on Musquin after getting passed. Can he remake it happen? No, Musquin's got it. All right, so Musquin is locked down third. Tomac, by the way, has extended it big time. 9.2 seconds is the gap between he and Roczen. Musquin third, Bogle fourth. Porcel, Pike coming through next. We're back now. It's a battle for 4th. Marvin Musquin got around Justin Bogle for 3rd. Bogle trying to hold off Christophe Porcel. Let's send it down to Georgia Lindsay.
The 42 of Mitchell Oldenburg. Now the 250 race is coming up after this 450 race. You were 3rd in qualifying, best qualifying overall you've had. Looking at the start, how important is that going to be? And especially for you, because I know you've been working on it.
Yeah, it starts everything. You know, if you can get up front and get a clear track, it's going to make for your whole race. Try and stay clean, not pull as many tear-offs, and yeah, be able to run your own lines and just be out front and checking out with those guys.
Thanks.
Oldenburg quietly effective this year for that Troy Lee Designs KTM team. We'll see those guys in the next hour, the 250 class. Porcel almost came together with Bogle as the lines keep intersecting out here in this battle for 4th.
Porcel starting to put the pressure on, but Bogle just doesn't get phased from pressure from behind. He hasn't really made any mistakes. He's riding his race, his pace. Obviously, his pace is not quite up to scratch of the front 2 or 3, but a still overall great ride for Justin Bogle. And it's nice to see Porcel getting in the mix later in the motos and battling.
Yeah, it took him a while to come around. He actually had a very similar injury to what has cost Ryan Dungey, our defending series champ, his season, which is a broken vertebrae in his neck. Now, that happened about 4 months ago for Porcel. The first 3 months wasn't able to ride that much because it hurt. Finally now getting his strength back as we check back in with Eli Tomac. It is finally the moto that Tomac has been looking for as we kick off the second half of the season. Now it's a sand track, totally different conditions, so maybe that's one thing. Or maybe Tomac is starting to heat up for this second half stretch run. This is an amazing ride.
He's been heating up for a little while. I think it just kind of slipped under the radar because Roczen was so dominant. But we saw last week in Redbud and even at Muddy Creek, you know, he's shown that he can run the pace. But today, he looks like he's on rails. But I can't believe how he's dropped Roczen. If I was a betting man, I would have put my money on Roczen coming to this event. But Eli Tomac, we know he rides great in these kind of, like, as I like to say, just nasty conditions. But look at this gap. Once he passed Roczen, I mean, he just put the hammer down. I mean, the lap times are. I'm almost wondering if maybe Roczen hasn't just, I don't want to say thrown in the towel, but just circulating to get second in this moto, because his lap times have dropped off, and he's actually circulating slower than the guys behind him. Oh, there's Phil Nicoletti. So that looks more like maybe a mechanical than an injury as he walks away on his own power.
He was very fast in practice today. Nicoletti was 7th quickest, 4th in the seeded session. So Nicoletti walking off hoping for better. He was in the top 10 last time we were here, by the way, in 2013. Go back to Roczen here. Yeah, his last time around, he ran a 2:14, and Tomac ran a 2:09.
Yeah.
And Musquin in third, yeah, a 2:10. So, yeah, Musquin is now circulating much quicker than Roczen, and by the way, is only about 4 seconds back. So if this keeps up, Musquin's going to catch Roczen.
Wow, wouldn't that be a big surprise? That's what I said. It just seems like, because trust me, I know Ken Roczen knows how to ride in the sand. A few years back, some of you may remember Motocross of Nations in Lommel, and he dominated over there. I mean, Lommel makes this track look like a freeway. Yeah, just, I don't know. Maybe conserving energy, maybe just you know, figuring it out. Because sometimes with these guys, if they don't feel comfortable, maybe they went with the wrong suspension or setting. Because a lot of times, with a track like this, you'll pull the forks through to make the front end taller and lower the rear, like with the sag. So I'm just wondering if maybe he's got a setup issue or a tire issue or something like that.
Yeah, probably more changes for this track, suspension power and tire-wise, than any other. So they're all trying to guess and guess right. Monster Energy Kawasaki guys got it figured out right now. Master Metal Man Ian Roussel is back at work with new episodes of Full Custom Garage. He's going to bring his wild fabrication skills into the world of custom culture. Friday, 7 Eastern and Pacific on MAV TV Motorsports Network. Eli Tomac continues to lead here. He's got a 21-second gap over Ken Roczen. We'll check in, though, with Justin Barcia, who is our fast qualifier. Went down in the first turn. Just made a move on Benny Bloss to get 7th. And now has his teammate, Weston Pike, in sight. So he's looking to come from near last 6th.
This is the turn 1 crash. You can see Barcia, he's kind of in the middle of the screen there. Didn't get quite the start. And then someone comes from the outside. Oh, Barcia. Oh, it actually looks like there's a little rock. I swear, where that one bike's lane, it looked like a rock just caught his front end, and he kind of washed and turned to the right. And as you can see, Bauer's involved, Baggett's involved.
Noah McConaughey on the 96 all the way on the left that you saw. There's Davey Coombs at MX Sports picking bikes up out of the first turn along with some of the team people. Speaking of teams, we've got a... Whoa! Well, we had a battle and Barcia just ended it. Barcia nailing an inside line on his Auto Trader Monster Joe Gibbs Racing Yamaha teammate Weston Pike. Barcia's like, I gotta go. So that's gonna move him into 6th. By the way,
that was pretty aggressive.
Yes.
It was nothing wrong, but on his teammate, he wasted no time and just executed that. Typical Bam Bam style. Just has to get it done right here, right now, right then.
Yeah, and he's 7 seconds behind Porcel. There's not much time left as you look at the clock. Probably going to get 2 laps to go. I don't know if he can make up 3.5 seconds a lap on Porcel down the stretch. We'll see. But by the way, I'm just going to throw out a massive what if. Way back at Southwick 2009, Matt Gerke won the overall here with 6-1 moto scores. Barcia now into 6th. And that was a wet, rainy day. Chad Reed, I remember, who was series champ that year, crashed out. A lot of crazy things happened. But crazy things tend to happen on this track. Yeah, it's definitely hard on the motorcycles, and it can catch the riders off guard like it did to Reed that day, and open the door up for a the only career win for Gerke. So Southwick always tends to serve up the upset special, and that's all Barcia can bank on right now. He's not going to be able to get podium in this moto. He wants to get as far up as he can, and then try to do some battle with Roczen Tomac, Musquin, and the boys who are up front in this one later today. And Moto 2. So you see the 2 Joe Gibbs Racing Yamahas here, Barcia and Pike. Third one, Nicoletti is out of this race. Pike all the way already back in the pits. Tremblay, who we talked to before the moto with Georgia, had a good run going. He was in 15th place and appears to have bike problems.
That was the signal. Bike broke.
Whether it's in the French Canadian or English, you take the hands and twist them.
Oh, look at all that smoke on that. Yeah, she's a goner.
I wonder, since he's a privateer, they're going to be able to get that thing fixed. Now, we do have actually an extra half-hour break that we don't normally have in the program today between the 2 motos. Would love to see him get another shot at it. He had points in his crash.
Well, the nice thing, too, is Yamaha actually have a crew here, and they help all the riders out. So they might be able to lend a hand and get it back in for Moto 2, which would be great.
Yeah, that's a great story for them. Privateer, snowmobile racer, getting it done. Although, I'm telling you what, seeing some of these conditions, it doesn't look
much
powder.
different. Yeah,
it's powder.
Rough powder.
Yeah, so it's Tomac is up at a Colorado ski resort right now. He has just owned this place, and it's impressive. We've seen some amazing speed out of Tomac in years past. We were coming here 2012, 2013, won the overall the last time. in the 250 class when we were here 3 years ago. He really needed this boost, man. This reminds me of what we saw from him at the Daytona Supercross earlier in the year. Had a rough Supercross season and got the victory there. And yeah, he said that was a huge weight off his shoulders. To finally lock in a moto win here is going to have to feel really good, despite all the sand he probably ate getting it done.
Well, the way he did it as well, he passed the guy that he's been having to be behind in the motos, the lap times, the results, everything. He passed Roczen and then immediately put the hammer down and absolutely just has dissected this track. See, Krantz, his mechanic, as he's known, plus 25. That is huge. But if you're Roczen, you might want to have a look over your shoulder because Musquin is still there. I think they're kind of trading times a little bit, but Musquin gained basically almost a second that lap. So this battle's not over, even though we're on the last lap. If Roczen does have any sort of issue, it's definitely not over, but I would assume that he knows what he's doing. Tyler Bowers about to go a lap down, involved in that first turn melee earlier.
Bowers 17th, so now Tomac has lapped into the top half of the field, into the top 20. These are riders who are scoring points, so they're doing well, scoring national points, which they earn for top 20 finishes. But Tomac is lapping these guys. Just an incredible ride for him. But as always, in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, you've got to finish it off with a second moto, which we will have live on NBC at 3:30 Eastern today. So can Tomac get his first overall win of the year? I think the moto win is nearly in his grasp, but we've seen crazy things happen even at this stage of the race. I hope the gas tank's got enough fuel in it. That's what has struck these 450 guys several times late in the motos, and it's especially tough. You were talking about it all weekend. There isn't any data to go by. It's been 3 years, so most of these bikes are totally different than what they had last time we were here.
And if you go off the data you had from 3 years ago, you're probably going to go in the wrong direction because things change year to year. But the good thing is these machines nowadays from the factory are pretty exceptional. And these guys put them to the test. I actually saw Eli Tomac radiator hose that comes out the bottom, what we call the overflow pipe, was spitting out a little coolant. Just because how hot these machines get. It's not a problem if it spits out a little bit. It just means it's getting hot, but what a moto for this guy.
Unbelievable, yeah. Well, no problems with the bikes right now because he's been able to coast around these final couple of laps and save a little something. Eli Tomac takes his first moto win of the season in the return to Southwick.
And for a man that doesn't show a lot of emotion, you can tell right there he is super pumped with that. Ken Roczen not going to be happy. And if you look, right when Roczen disappears, you'll see Musquin coming in. So Roczen having to basically push to the finish. I'm curious to see if he just had a bad moto, if there was something wrong, or if Tomac was just that good. Because look at Marvin right there.
Wow, right there. Final gap between them, just a few seconds. So that was surprising there. But Roczen, every time he's gotten into the lead this year, when he hasn't had that bike problem, he hasn't been beaten until now. Eli Tomac going to the top.
The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championships is brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. And by Kawasaki, the Kawasaki KX, the bike that builds champions.
Back at Southwick, great race here for our opening moto. First time we've been here since 2013. Let's show you with the Lucas Oil race recap. First moto win of the season by Eli Tomac, and he had to earn it. Ken Roczen doing what he does, attacking early, but Justin Bogle put up a fantastic fight for the lead. Took about half of the moto nearly for Roczen to finally make it happen. But Tomac wasted no time following Roczen through the pack. There you see him on the 3. He gets Bogle.
And then
went after
does
Roczen.
Not waste any time. Look at that power slide up the inside on a smooth piece of ground right there. Roczen tries to square back under, and Tomac with 0 tear-offs put the hammer down and just absolutely checked out of this moto.
And they got to cruise to the checkered flag as he had opened up a lead of about 25 seconds on Roczen. Mirror image of what we had going on last week at Redbud, where Roczen got the edge. Let's send it to Georgia Lindsay with our winner.
Yes, now that is the Eli Tomac we have all been waiting for. What a race you put on here at the Sandy Southwick. How was it out there, and were you just feeling it, or were there any big changes?
That's all I can say is I was just feeling it, and I just love the sand, you know. I'm just having fun, and my track at home is really soft like this, so it's a comfort thing for me, and we were able to get out to a decent start and just made a few passes and ended up getting Ken and Bogle. And honestly, the biggest struggle of that moto was vision. You know, there's so much sand and roost coming off the tire that you got to manage your tear-offs or run roll-offs. So, you know, luckily I was able to see the whole time. And let's go do it again in Moto 2.
Well, congratulations. First moto win of the season for Eli Tomac, and he did say that his goggles, he ran out of tear-offs. He went through 21 of them in the first 10 minutes.
That's life at a sand track. There's nothing you can do. That's what's going to happen when you're behind somebody. Let's show you the results in just a moment, but we will have our second moto today of this class at 3:30 Eastern time. A half-hour break we normally don't have. We normally race at 3. That gives everybody a chance to re-rack it, and let's send it back to Georgia.
Yeah, second place in the first moto here at Southwick was Ken Roxon. Now, Ken, I know for you, you always want to win, but points is the championship. What was it that you weren't quite feeling today?
Well, you know, we always want to go out there and win, that's for sure. And everything went all right in the beginning, but no, look, I'm like one of the only ones that's out there on air forks, and they just get worse and worse towards the end. And this is like the only track where we have sandy conditions with a really hard base, so it's really tough in the end. It just wasn't, you know, the bike wasn't really clicking, and it cost me, but we're going to go back and see what we can do.
Well, congratulations. Second place anyway, and I'm sure Ken Roxon will make some changes.
All right, being straight up with the info, we always appreciate that. From Roxon, Musquin kept it close down to the edge in third. Bogle, best moto finish, I believe, ever for his career on a 450. Best of the year for certain with fourth. Barsha scratch clawed his way from a first turn crash, ends up in sixth. Heath Harrison, another great ride. 13th and 14th overall the last 2 races, 12th in this moto. Back to Georgia.
Yes, Marvin Musquin, huge congratulations. Third place in that moto. You did have to come through the pack. Now, normally at the Baker factory, you're training with Ryan Dungey and Jason Anderson. You haven't got them with you right now. How's it been training? And obviously the sand here, you must be feeling good.
Yeah, you know, down in Florida right now, I really miss my team training partners, Dungey and Henderson. But that's the way it is, you know. It's motocross racing. Injuries is part of the game, I would say. So today here at Southwick, I never really got the nice, good flow here at Southwick on my 250, and I was finally able to get a good start this year on my 450. And but then once again, my first laps, I was searching too much, and Bogle was leading, and he got away from me, and he's not supposed to get away from me. I mean, I really wanted to get into the lead and have a clear track, but you know, those guys got around me. I was fourth, and then Eli Tomac was gone, and then I got back Bogle and got third, and then I saw Kenny ahead of me. I was catching him, so I was a little bit surprised. Honestly, to be honest, I thought he had a problem with the bike or something, because Kenny is really fast, and but it feels good. I had some good flow at the end, and hopefully we get a consistent second moto and see where we're at.
Well, congratulations, third place for Marvin Musquin. Now also, he has been training with Caleb Russell. Thank you, Marvin. He's been training with Caleb Russell, which has been great with Ryan Dungey being gone and Jason Anderson. So the Baker factory is still training him hard.
Caleb Russell, the cross-country champion factory KTM rider. Those guys ride for 3 hours, so that's not a bad guy to train with. Hey, we're getting ready for the 250 class. Cooper Webb running the red plate as your points leader for the first time this year. Is he taking control of this championship, or is everyone about to bounce back? We'll see.